Some people call paper lead the retainer killer because burned out agency owners transition from retainer to paper lead. And in the next few minutes, I will tell you exactly what those properties are that make them switch their entire business models, because they're one of the few that realize how structurally unfair the math is in paper lead compared to any other business model out there, so that once you really comprehend this business model, you will not be able to unsee it and evaluate other businesses in the same way ever again.
My name is Zavai. I'm a 7-figure pay-per lead agency owner, and as you can see, the last 2 months we spent around 100 grand for one specific client, netting us over 100 grand in profit because we specifically sold leads for $250 to $400 depending on qualifications, and we've generated them for around $150. I am not AI, nor is this fucking dashboard, right? I'm just a bit autistic, and specifically in this video, you're going to understand what the fuck paper lead actually is, why it is undeniably the most unfair business model you will ever lay your eyes upon. And after this video, you're gonna not be able to look at any other business models the same way again, because you will understand why 9 out of 10 companies on the NASDAQ listed publicly are paper lead companies, right? And why it is actually the natural evolution to go ahead of SMMA to sell to enterprise clients as opposed to local business owners. Because specifically, let's be real, right? If you're doing the shit and the work for the local business owner, there's gonna be so much complexity and issues to deal with than enterprise clients. Because enterprise clients are big corporate giants. I mean, they grew their company to already over 10 million. That means they know their shit, right? They have the tech figured out. They have their sales team figured out. Imagine Wolf of Wall Street type of fucking floor, 100 people just dialing and ripping the phones to get customers, whether it's for law services, insurance, right? Any type of other product. They have their systems dialed in that the local business owner wants you to make for him if you're selling retainer. So specifically, the amount of work and the delivery scope is complete different world. I mean, it feels like I had 4 retainer clients, right? And for a $1,500 retainer, my first client last year in June, I closed him, right? And after sending like a fucking 10 Loom videos, and working with a corporate titan, I'm actually doing less work, making 100 grand in profit over 2 months with this one corporate client than with my $1,500 retainer. How crazy is that, right? And it is exact same skill set, media buying and building funnels. But for the corporate client, I didn't have any money, so I had to call, for the local client, for the local business owner, a med spa without Google reviews, I had to like dial at 3 a.m. because I couldn't afford a setter, right? And it was a shit show. Now, specifically, I would not wish people to scale a retainer because I understand how hard it is, and their efforts could be placed, right, in more efficient business models. Now, your job is not to just run meta ads, but to fix every single little problem that the client has. You're gonna have so many unnecessary Google Meets, right, that I can imagine you have. And in paper lead, it just flips the script because you don't have any meetings. In fact, they don't actually want to meet with you, right? They're gonna send you a report saying how many of the leads that you've generated across in Meta, right, and sold to them made a profit, basically. How many of these leads turned into customers? And there's gonna be a disposition sheet, so to say, like a report that basically tells you how much money you made them. Right? Because all you do is generate a lead of Meta for $150 and maybe sell them for $250, $400. Now that's in the law vertical. In insurance, it may be generating them for $20 and selling them for $40. Now, what's really crazy, right, is that these enterprise clients will always pay you, right, 10 to even 100 times more. I've had a friend get wired $300,000. He had to pay 15 grand to Stripe in processing fees because he worked with a law firm and he had proof. right? And he knew how to carry himself in the conversation. 30-minute meeting, a few emails, boom, 300 grand. Now, not many people can do that. And obviously, I'm not saying you're going to get those results, right, just in the first few months of doing pay per lead. That's not really possible. But what I'm saying is that it is kind of retarded to do anything else, right, than to sell to the highest target segment that you can possibly sell to, utilizing the marketing skills you already have, like Hormozi said. And all of the industries, right, legal, insurance, financial, real estate, they've only been growing statistically over the last 20 years with pay per lead. And that's why they've always wanted more leads, because leads is what they buy to call, and when they call it, they turn those leads into customers that fuels their growth. So they will always rely on leads, right? And which is why 9 out of 10 companies listed on the NASDAQ are pay-per-lead companies. I mean, for instance, Money Supermarket relies on the biggest insurance companies in the States. They're basically a pay-per-lead company that sells leads to these auto insurance conglomerates, like billion-dollar companies that send them a few million dollars in payment, because they need and they rely on the leads from Money Supermarket. Obviously, they've been doing it for 15, 20 years. I made an in-depth breakdown on that on my YouTube channel. In fact, not only that, but I broke down already 4 companies listed on the NASDAQ specifically doing pay-per-lead, right? So if you don't like dopamine-fueled fucking brain rot content and want to learn some shit that actually benefits the entirety of your business legacy, then you should definitely check it out. And specifically, why these fucking like companies buy leads from you is not because they're like they want to, because they have to, right? Corporate buyers, their in-house marketing team in 90% of the cases are dog shit. And that's not only because they are constrained, right, by having a pretty brand. They have like corporate guidelines. They get fucking sued if they don't follow corporate guidelines. They get so many different problems. They have strict rules on what to say, what not to say, what colors to use. We don't need that shit. We can fucking do brain rot AI ads, right? E-com fucking crazy AI like brain rot ads, and it's gonna make people click, because Instagram is a platform that actually fucking Instagram does not want you to make ads, right? They punish you for making ads that look like ads because you pollute the Instagram environment, right? If you make ads that do look like brain rot and makes the viewer happy, you're gonna get charged less by Meta overall. And that's why it's not a fair fight, and why specifically you can generate leads for $60, sell them for $100, and maybe it's worth it for them because their in-house team generates it for $150. So they actually make $50 profit. They need a shit ton of volume. I'm talking about 1,000 leads a day for some of these insurance companies. Imagine getting sent 40 grand a single day. But that's what some of the people are doing, right? Pay-per-lead, one of the reasons why there are not many pay-per-lead gurus is that specifically they already make so much money that the time they put into making content is not really worth it. I'm just autistic and I love to talk and it's good for my mental health, right? Which is why I'm doing this shit. But specifically, corporate buyers, they also rely on multiple lead vendors. So it's not like marketing, retainer-based agency where a local business just trusts you with their whole marketing front-end infrastructure. So they rely on you to get them customers or they're fucked, right? They send you $3,000 a month, right? You get them 0 customers, that's 30% of their profit gone. Boom. Pay-per-lead companies, conglomerates, they send you 30K if you don't get any leads, okay. They wasted their test budget, right? They're not gonna sue you. It's not worth it for them. They just have a testing budget because they understand, right? I need to try out like fucking 5 pay-per-lead companies or 10 to get one good one. And I'm willing to take that risk because I make more profit on the back end by having this one good pay-per-lead company. So, right, they are not able to have a single point of failure. They have multiple pay-per-lead companies. Some law firms I know work with like 50 pay-per-lead companies, right? And because they have a $4 to $5 million marketing budget monthly. And specifically, we all know that like these retainer agencies are going to be insanely replaced, because local business owners, even though they're like technically sometimes retarded, they can go high level and figure some of the shit out. All of it is AI now. You press a button and it just makes the whole thing for you. Obviously there's some expertise involved, but what is going to essentially happen, it's going to become more saturated because the gurus are pushing it, right? AI agency is just another pretty term for doing marketing for these businesses, right? We in the pay-per-lead industry, we've discovered something that most of the internet hasn't, which is you can work with larger clients and they're actually easier to work with and easier to close. And I'll also explain to you, because it's a quantifiable thing that you're selling. It's like a product, right? Even you can have replacement guarantees. So you can say, okay, this shit was a bad number, right? The lead I send you, bad number, out of the state, out of your geography, I'll replace it, no problem, right? You make a bit less money, but the lifetime value of 6 figures and even 7 figures sometimes makes up completely for it. Now, AI is gonna make shit so fucking easy for local business owners that it's gonna be really difficult to produce value as any type of fucking service agency provider, right? Because once they realize that they just can click a few buttons and get the same AI chatbots, voice agents, right? They can get the same fucking things that you're selling, then it's completely over. Now, enterprise clients already know that, which is why specifically they already have their in-house marketing team and they just need qualified leads to fuel into their call center that basically calls them and makes them clients, right? It's not a fair fight, like I said. All you need, you don't even need go high level. You just need some Google spreadsheets, some competitive ad spy tools that I can tell you as well, right? In my YouTube videos, you can just find them. And also it's something that it's a long-term game plan, because HomeBuddy scaled to $190 million exit within 4 years, right? That's one of the largest marketing exits in the whole planet. And they were acquired by QuinStreet, which is also one of the largest marketing companies, backed by private equity in the States. And they basically understand that this company that they bought for 190 million is going to make them a shit ton more. I have a complete in-depth analysis on that on my YouTube channel if you want to check it out. But it is essentially retarded to not follow through a big dream of exiting for 8-9 figures if you have that ambition, of course. And retainer is it's just not gonna get you there, right? And drop shipping is like burning and churning all these different clients. It's just not really worth the specific talent and potential you're having, right? And you're not really changing the business model, because you already it's basically applying the same skill sets you've already developed, which is media buying, building funnels, connecting shit with API, but you're applying it to a different target segment, which is corporate conglomerates and titans of industries, right? They don't want to talk to you. They're going to send you a report saying, hey, did you guys make me money, make our company money with the leads, right? If not, then fuck off. If yes, I'm gonna put as much money into your business as I can do to make as much money out of it, right? Because if they're profitable from your leads, they're gonna scale up with you. And that's where you get these crazy, insane months. Now, retainers are fucked, right? Because specifically they're capped. I mean, have you ever heard of a retainer agency doing more than 500 grand a month? Probably not, right? But with pay-per-lead, one insurance billion-dollar company can send you, right? They would want 3,000 leads from you. You can generate them for like $20, sell them for 40, right? And then for $15, you build a qualification funnel. So what that essentially means, if the lead does not match the criteria that basically your client wants, you basically throw them out and you don't send them to the client, right? If you want to learn more about that, I have a YouTube channel dedicated to it. But specifically, the same work, right? And you get way more out of it. It's just a no-brainer at this point. And you can stop this video and just look at the data, right? But the same amount to reach 100K might require you 20 to 40 clients on a retainer business, but only 1 to 5 clients on a pay-per-lead business, right? That's the difference. And it's even crazier because pay-per-lead companies, they're paying you a fraction of their marketing budget monthly, whereas retainer models, they pay you their whole marketing budget, 100% of it. So they care 100 times more, right? Now, why is pay-per-lead also so powerful is because you don't need to hire many people. I hired my first person, a CTO from Pakistan, just last week. Right. I don't even have a fucking VA, which is I do need to get, but it's just a leaner business model. You need way less people, right? Than basically fucking retainer where you have CSMs, you have fucking closers, software, you have media buyers, right? A bunch of shit show, and it's so tangled, an operational mess, right? You're building custom solutions for 50 clients, and they can just like fuck off and get somebody new and just take everything you've built for them. And it's hard, like really hard to scale retainer up as opposed to pay-per-lead. But in pay-per-leads, you can make a national campaign on Meta. So what that means is like you make one advertising, like you have one ad account, right? You make a bunch of ads, you send that to your funnel, and then you send that like, and then you send the leads from that one specific funnel to like 50 to 100 buyers. That's completely possible. One funnel, one ad account, 50 clients. Right here, 50 ad accounts, 50 clients, 50 fucking headaches. And media buying is the most important skill. So if you're autistically good at media buying like myself, right, you have creativity, then this shit is for you. Because that will make or break the profit margin you're in, right? Because most of the profit is coming from you basically making good ads, getting leads for cheap and selling them for a high cost. Now, if you're not technical and don't do any of this integration shit, or you don't want to do the media buying, you can hire editors to do it, right? You can, out of 100 ads that you make, right, you can 95% get a winner that produces you good leads at a cheap cost. But the problem is most people are not willing to put in the effort. So the question is, are you willing to put in the effort, right?